Welcome back, Pile Pack Coaches Show. Third straight week we have cross country on. Toward the end of the season, there's a reason for that because, as the team does better, we get deeper into the postseason. This weekend is regionals, and we welcome in head coach Keith Woodard and a couple of his athletes. Coach, we talked to you a couple times about the success that your teams have had, and we've had some different new faces on our couch. I want to take it a little different. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the guys that you have to your right here from the women and the men's team. Introduce them to us and kind of just give us an idea of why they're here today.
Okay, Lars Steier is a senior. He's from Florida. And
on our couch. I want to take it a little different. Why don't you tell me a little bit about
kind of between number 2 and number 4 guy on the team, depending on how it sorts out on a given day. But he's an older representative of the team, has a different vantage point, and has seen all the progress the team's made over the last few years. Heather Spurling, one of our hotshot sophomores. They seem to be a dominant factor on the team, and she's a big meet performer. She comes through when the races count the most, and she's always been one of our top 4 and continues to do that.
So I figured you've been on so much you could be a co-host by now. We'd have you in this chair permanently every week. I'm sure you want that.
I think I'll leave it to the professionals.
I wouldn't go there. Lars, from that senior perspective then, we had Richie on a couple weeks ago. Share with me what you've seen of the program over the course of your time here, and maybe even a little bit about what you feel like you've accomplished personally.
I think just the attitude in the team has changed a lot from my first year. How many miles we're running, especially, has upped a lot. And personally, I've managed to improve pretty well each year. I've been pretty happy with that. Yeah.
How long have you been running? I mean, you've been someone who's like doing long distance running.
I started really doing it in 9th grade.
And how'd that come about? Like, what made you decide as a freshman in high school to start doing something like that?
Well, my dad was the coach in my high school.
He knew he had a secret weapon sitting at home. So how'd that conversation go when did he ask you to start running, or were you like, hey Dad, I want to do this for you?
It was my decision. It was pretty big in my family.
Your dad was a cross country runner prior to?
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah, I might interject here that Lars came back for an extra semester so he could finish out his running here, and he transferred in and has been a mainstay of the team since he's been here.
And what was that decision like for you to come back? Why did you make that decision?
Well, it wasn't just based on running. I wasn't quite done with school yet, so
And are you happy with it?
Yeah, it's been great to take not so many classes and just run a lot.
Yeah, and like you said, make really good progress. Yeah. And we'll talk a little bit about the teams and kind of where you see that they might go, and if they were to advance to nationals, what that would mean for the school and the program. But Heather, first with your sophomore class, like he mentioned, can you elaborate a little bit on what he started on? What's the class been like? Who's in that group, and why does he say that about your specific year?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I guess mostly because our top 2 runners are sophomores, and it's been kind of interesting because one of them, Alana, our top runner, just came in this year and is new to cross country. So last year, Emily and I were the freshmen on varsity, and now it's been fun to add Alana. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been good to have classmates as teammates.
And personally for you, being a sophomore and being one of the younger group, but being also in that core group, how does that challenge you? Especially because, like you mentioned, Alana's in the same year in school as you.
Mm-hmm. I think because we have a pretty young team, I think we all kind of step into more leadership roles as the season goes on. So yeah, that's been really nice. Like right from the start, we all take turns leading different intervals in the track, and I'd say yeah, it works out well.
And Keith, you're really good at this, elaborating on what they said. I mean, tell me a little bit about what you take from what she said.
Well, I need to add in there that normally Heather's our number 3 runner, so we have 3 sophomores up there. Yeah. But they do a real good job of communicating and pulling the freshmen along, and they do rotate lead during intervals. They set people up for warm-ups and for getting ready for races and lead discussions, and they kind of get it.
This weekend with regionals, if you advance to nationals, it's something that you have, a women's team that's really good this year, having never been to nationals,
Right.
and then a men's team that hasn't been there for a long, long time.
Right.
What would it mean for you if you got a group of your folks in there, if you're not the whole team?
Well, I think it really illustrates the commitment that our athletes have made to their individual and their team careers, and they've worked really hard for it. They set some pretty lofty goals, and they're really good about chasing those down. They've done a great job, and this would just take us to that next step. We could move up and maybe be considered one of the elite programs on the West Coast anyway.
Lars, were you aware of the fact that a cross-country team hadn't been to nationals in quite some time, or is that something that you don't really focus on too much as an athlete?
I knew. I don't actually. How long has it been?
1965.
So what would it?
Been a while.
So what it would mean, though, maybe more so for your group, especially because the national recognition is getting there. You've been dangling at the bottom of that receiving votes portion of it. I'd love you guys to get in there. I think you deserve it. But I mean, what would it mean for you to be in a national competition?
That would be pretty cool. I mean, we weren't really thinking about that at the beginning of the season. I think we knew we were going to be a lot better than last year, but yeah, that would be pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, I wish you guys luck this weekend. Now, you're from Florida, and then Heather, you're from Maine. What made you decide to go all the way across country to come here?
I transferred here from a big state school on the East Coast. And why? I don't know. I'd never been to Oregon when I decided to come here. So.
Well, you say it right, which is a good start, because a lot of people who come from the East Coast say Oregon, which I don't know if you've ever heard. Yeah. And so you decided to just kind of take a chance out in Oregon?
Yeah. I didn't do a lot of preparation. Research.
Hey, that's fine. I threw a dartboard too. I moved out here from Montana. I had never been out here before, and I'm happy with it for sure. Heather, what about you?
It was more like the eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing for me. I applied to like 8 schools and a lot of schools back east, a couple in Maine that I could have gone to, but I really kind of wanted to branch out a little, and I'd never been to Oregon until I started pre-camp here for cross country, so yeah, it was kind of a big step for me.
Did you come out here solo? Like no one else came with you?
My mom came with me when I first came as a freshman.
But there's no other students here that you knew or no other connections?
Not really, no.
It's very bold. Very bold. So do you guys like seafood, being from the East Coast?
Yeah, my dad's a lobster man.
And that's what she did over the summer.
Yeah.
You were on the boats?
Yep. Mm-hmm. That was my summer job.
So you don't really like the seafood very much?
I'm indifferent.
Yeah? What's your number one cuisine?
Peanut butter and jelly.
That's pretty standard no matter where you go. So you do the lot of lobster? Did you bring some back for your teammates?
I didn't. No, it's actually...
Coach.
You have to like get them in these airtight, I don't know. They're very fragile. They have to be cool and dry when you fly them over.
Is lobster your favorite seafood?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think crab and lobster are...
Have you tried any of the West Coast crab or... Yeah.
I don't really dig.
I don't know. I like king crab, Dungeness crab.
Then there's the bay shrimp. It's really good.
Yeah, I haven't eaten that yet. So I switched from steak to seafood, so I went from there. So, all right, well, guys, good luck this weekend. Thanks for taking time, and stick around. We'll do the power punch next. All right, for Keith, Heather, Lars, we'll come back in just a moment. Final segment, just a 2-segment show plus the power punch. That's coming up next on the Coaches Shows.